Good evening, everyone. This is the Thursday, June 14, 2018, Town of Monroe Planning Board Workshop Meeting. Noreen, if you would take the roll call.
Anthony Vaccaro.
Here.
Lisa McQuaid.
Absent.
Rich Triano.
Here.
Bonnie Franson.
Here.
James McKnight.
Here.
Jason Sorinsky.
Here.
Jeff Manson.
Here.
Thank you.
With that, let's all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I would like to point out the fire exits. One is located in the front to the left, which is a main entrance into the building here, into the room. The second is over by the kitchen, which I can't see because it's hidden by the by the screen, but it's over there by the kitchen. And then one behind us as well. With that, the first item on the agenda is the Romero project. I don't know, would you like to come up for that, or it's a referral, so if you want to speak to it quickly so we can make a resolution, that'd be great, Dave. Thank you. The applicant's representative is here.
Hello everyone, my name is David Nimatko. I'm the architect for the Romero project. So per the last meeting, it was understood that there is a pre-existing non-conforming condition associated with the house. Even though our project has no exterior modifications, the project involves only interior modifications. We realize it has to go before the zoning board. So we request that you make referral for this project to go to the zoning board.
Okay. So if everyone recalls, the accessory apartment law requires that the accessory apartment be accessory to a dwelling on a lot where no bulk requirement variances are required, that it's completely conforming, and in fact it wasn't. So as a result, the applicant is seeking an area variance. So I would like to make a motion to refer the Romero accessory apartment application to the ZBA for the requisite variances. May I have a second?
Second that motion.
Thank you. Any discussion? No? You want to take the vote?
I don't have it set up for a roll. I
Okay.
forgot to set this one up.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, the motion carries, so that was 6-0, one absent. Thank you. So we do have a new project in front of us. It's the accessory apartment application for a Gomez located at 12 Country Court.
Yes.
In Town of Monroe. So if you would like to give us an overview of the application.
Absolutely. Here we, these conditions were built prior to getting a building permit, so the building inspector had issued violations associated with this construction, along with some other items within the house. Again, it's an accessory apartment. There are no exterior modifications. All the modifications are on the interior. We're requesting approval of the accessory apartment. It meets the requirements outlined in the zoning code. However, I do want to bring everyone's attention to the fact that we have the same scenario as earlier. There are two pre-existing non-conforming conditions associated with this project. One is the area of the lot. If you look on the zoning code review, the minimum lot area required is 43,560. This lot, which exists, there's no change, has 40,779 plus or minus square feet. The second condition that is pre-existing and non-conforming to your code is the rear yard setback. If you notice there, what's required now is 60 feet, but what was built has a rear yard setback of 51.47 feet.
Okay.
So it encroaches upon the rear yard. And again, it's a condition that the owners of the house did not self-impose. It existed already. But yet the accessory apartment would be all within the constraints of the house. It does not modify any of the outside activities.
So, I'm sure we all, it's a workshop, so we may have questions. This is the property, I believe,
Yes,
and it looks like a white colonial when you drive by.
yes.
Okay. I have various comments. One of them is that when I looked in the front yard, there's a well there. And so my question is this on septic and well, or is it on municipal water and sewer? Because I believe your plan said it was municipal water and sewer, but I did see a well.
Yeah, on the county's records, it shows that it's on-site septic and well.
Okay. Do
The
you
other
know?
question, which possibly you could check on the code, unless I'm reading the numbers wrong, and I very well could have done that, I'm showing 40,000 square foot requirement for non-public sewer in that zone, unless I hold the wrong table.
I believe so when we updated the code, I will check, but I thought we went from 40,000, a builder's acre, to 43,560.
I might have flipped the old and the new very easily.
So I'll check, I'll bring it up. So I think we want to go over whether it's on-site septic and well, because if they are adding a bedroom, then our town engineer needs to take a look at whether or not, in fact, we can accommodate additional bedrooms on that lot, or if it connected at some point in time. The other thing I wanted to point out is that when I did drive by, there's a for sale sign there.
Yes,
Are they selling the home?
they will be, yes.
So they're going to ask for an accessory apartment and then sell it?
Yes.
Okay.
We have to correct the existing conditions, and to do so would be to make this an accessory apartment because it is built already.
Ah, okay.
So they're trying to remove the violation.
All right. I don't know that I picked that up from the files that I have. So when you were talking about the violation, you're referring to the fact that it already has an accessory apartment?
Yes, it does
Okay.
already.
All right. The other thing I wanted to point out is that the record owner for the property, when I looked it up, it's not just Karina and Jorge Gomez, but also Sonia and Randall Gramis.
Yes.
So they need to also sign this application because we don't want, one owner saying that they want an accessory apartment and the other doesn't. I mean, in this instance, it's a violation, but we still need to make sure we have everybody signing the application.
One of the owners does not suffice? Because I on the applications, I don't see a requirement where all of the owners need to sign, only one of the representative or one of the property owners.
If that's the case, then there should be some other affidavit that says it's okay to sign.
Fair enough.
The reason is I've been in a situation where we were pursuing a subdivision and it turned out that the other lot owner actually didn't agree to the subdivision. So we want to make sure that everybody consents to what's being filed.
Well, I'll get an affidavit from all the owners authorizing one to sign on their behalf.
Right.
Sure.
I think also the 809 affidavit of general municipal law, the disclosure, I don't think that's something that, and I don't know if you filled it out or if they filled it out, I think this is intended to be filled out by the owner themselves or in the actual, if it was a contract vendee, that this gets filled out by them. I don't think this 809 affidavit is to be filled out as you as the agent, I don't believe. No, right?
That's not my understanding.
Right. I also looked at, there's an owner affidavit, and it's supposed to have a lot of check boxes, that it's a single-family dwelling, that it's been occupied continuously for 10 years. While one of the owners signed it, they actually didn't check off the check boxes on the owner affidavit that I have. So this is what I had received. And it's not checked off, so we'd like them to fill that out. I mentioned the ownership. I did see that the building The home was built in 1993, so that meets the 10-year requirement. And I have to pull up the plans.
Bonnie?
Yes.
The owner affidavit, items 1 through 9,
Yeah.
there's yes.
Okay, so maybe I have one that was incomplete and is yours fully checked off?
Yeah, we supplied the answers to each item.
They're typed in.
You're typed in,
Like, instead of checking, they just typed in yes in the line.
Yeah, I actually thought mine isn't checked off.
No, they're not
No, no,
checked
check,
off.
they typed in the yes.
It was a solid.
Oh,
line, and
they typed in the yes. I thought it was a no or yes. I'm sorry. Sorry about that.
No, that's not a problem.
In looking at the, what is, I guess, an existing apartment, is there a bedroom or the bedroom is essentially where it says accessory apartment or by the kitchen?
Correct.
Okay. And where is this actual apartment located in the structure itself?
Okay, if you look at the plot plan that we provided, the hatched area that you see on SP1 is where the apartment is located.
So was this an addition at some point in time, or it's just that was the area that,
No, this was an addition many years ago that was added to the house. It was approved,
Okay.
built, received a C of O.
okay,
And in so doing, things have changed and we have the current condition that we have.
okay, so it was an addition, and that's where it's located,
Yes.
okay. We talked about the municipal water and sewer service, we need to find out about that. Non-habitable areas, it says boiler room not included. Where is the boiler room? Is that where the washer dryer is? Or,
Yes.
so in considering the space, basically you're considering where it says accessory apartment, the bath room, the closet, the kitchen, that's the entirety of what you consider the accessory apartment?
Correct.
And that adds up to the 647 square feet?
Correct.
Okay.
And it has the separate
I
entrance.
measured it as gross and it was 648, so if you subtract out the stairways, you're still in that acceptable window.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks. Those are my initial questions and comments. So anybody else in looking at this, do they have comments or questions?
Yeah. So it's also right along Harriman Heights Road. Would that, I guess, question for Bonnie, would that trigger a 239 review from the county?
Yes.
Always.
All right.
Any other comments or questions? Mark?
My comments, I also noted the inconsistency with municipal water and sewer versus the on-site, so that needs to be addressed. If it isn't confirmed it's on-site, we need to verify adequate capacity for both well and septic. It shows as a 5-bedroom on the data sheet, so you really have to be capable of a 6-bedroom discharge to the sanitary disposal system. I would ask that you ID that crosshatched area as the accessory apartment on the site plan. The site plan, I think when you imported it, maybe you can stretch, shrink, whatever else, try to get it close to, more to the scale.
Yeah, Mark, I mean, to go even one step further, I already alerted the owner that they're going to have to do a survey. I mean, this was based on the comments from previous projects, and then to come to this point, and also in conjunction with wanting to sell the house, that they need to do an updated survey. And I was going to use that updated survey to,
That would help. I mean, this is a good start.
yeah.
With this, to review, what I've picked up is once you get it to scale and once you have the vehicles shown to scale, it's pretty obvious that the turnaround that's required by 5721H internal is not going to happen unless you add some back out paving. So I would add that so that the vehicles can turn around inside and not have to go out on the country, back out on the country court. So the scale issue, this water and sewer, I had down the county as well, fixing up the scale and in the back out area. It's better than the initial review. The internal portion is easier to follow this time. Once Dave gets the good survey to work with, I think we can make some progress.
Thanks.
Mark brought up, reminded me of something else. So I have 5 bedrooms listed. Does this apartment include the 5th bedroom, or would that, by approving this, would that become a 6th bedroom?
6.
Okay.
So that's why it's important to look at the septic, if the septic's there, because it may have been approved as a 4, for all we know. We don't know,
Yeah.
bottom line. But I do wonder if it's hooked up, because usually Ben would have given us some indication of, and I don't think we got a CO in this package, did we?
If it
There
was,
is a certificate of occupancy.
if it was added for something other than a bedroom, they wouldn't have modified the sanitary system.
Correct.
Very well might be what happened.
Okay. Yeah, you may have one. I don't think I saw a C of O in my packet. I just wanted to get to, so can you explain, so the applicant wants to sell the home, and it was inspected, and now then a determination was made that the accessory apartment was there and had not been approved?
Yes,
Okay, so then the building inspector issued a violation,
this is correct.
okay, and indicated you had to come here before this board.
Yes, because the matter would need to be remedied.
Okay. What I'm trying to look up, actually, with the regulations, is transfer of title. So I just want to see, so if they get it, if they get an approval now, what happens? Because we know they're going to be selling the dwelling. So everybody, if you look on the screen, I don't know if that's big enough, I can increase it.
That'd be number 4, under N4, I guess, is where they have transfer of title.
Okay. And then, so our regs say, within 60 days after the record owner transfers title, new record owner shall provide such evidence to the building inspector as may be necessary to demonstrate that the principal residential structure is occupied by the new record owner. In the event that the new record owner fails to do so, building inspector shall serve written notice. Okay. So it looks like this can occur. It's just, we know that it's going to be sold, and once it's sold, the record owner has to be aware of, they have a certain time frame within which they have to come back if they want to continue to have an accessory apartment in the dwelling.
Yes.
Okay.
But is it returned to the new information to the building inspector? Do they need to come back with a new approval? Just want to make sure that they understand and we understand.
Building inspector shall serve written notice upon the owner occupant, do so by certain date. That's if they find that the owner
Yeah.
didn't come in.
I think if they fail to act within 60 days, then they have to start again
Right.
with the planning board. But if they work
And
with
then-
the building
yeah.
inspector,
The planning board shall consider building inspector's findings in considering whether to renew the accessory apartment permit.
is that after they've revoked it, if you read it?
New record owner shall provide such evidence by new record owner. In the event that the new record fails to do so, building inspector shall serve written notice.
And then they have to come back.
Then they have to come back,
So as long
right?
as they comply with the 60 days, I think they're just renewing it
Right,
in the same form.
yeah.
So
Yes.
they'd be smart to do that within 60 days.
Right. And I think he can renew anyway unless there's a determination that it has to come back. Shall give notice, the planning board shall approve, disapprove, approve, subject to renewal. All right. Well, it doesn't matter at this point. We'll have to deal with it
I understand.
at that point in time. Sorry, I'm just looking through the regulations.
No,
Make
it's
sure I
okay.
understand.
Good exercise, absolutely.
All right, so in terms of actions, we have a meeting on Tuesday. Mike could not make it here this evening. I'm wondering if at a minimum we should send it out for county GML review, if there's sufficient information.
I almost want to suggest, in fairness to the applicant, that the board consider referring it to the
Yeah, as
ZBA
well, right?
with the condition that their application must include the updated survey information, so they have a clear indication on what variances they need. And well, by then, we'll have confirmed definitely what the bulk table has. This is also a corner lot, so there's an issue as to what do you consider the rear yard, what do you consider the side yard?
And what's considered the
So-
front yard, yeah.
We can nail that all down, but rather than have the applicant spend money on sanitary system evaluations, well evaluations, all those other items, not knowing if they're gonna get the variance, why not send them to the ZBA so that if they're successful with the ZBA, then they know they have to do that other work?
Mark, do you go to the ZBA meetings
I don't.
on occasion?
They do send inquiries if they
Okay.
need commentary, but I don't attend.
All right.
So I would likely end up doing a review and send comments on whatever plan is submitted.
Okay. I'm thinking whether it's important that they know about the number of bedrooms and whether the septic is adequate, and whether that would be a finding for the accessory apartment, or if that's a finding
But
for the
They're
variances.
considering the bulk issue.
Yeah,
You're considering
the accessory
the
apartment.
accessory apartment for
Yeah.
approval, so.
Okay, that's fair.
So what's the maximum bedrooms in that district allowed? Is there a maximum bedroom?
Not that I'm aware of. As a single family, I don't believe it's.
No, I don't think we
Restricted.
restrict the number of bedrooms. But we do say they have to be able to be, have sewer and adequate water. What zoning district is this in again? Was this R?
This is RR1.
RR1, yeah.
Okay, so let me just make sure. Scroll down to the bulk requirements. So we're now. So we have just 1 acre.
Just 1 acre.
Yep.
So-
So it's 43,560.
So the only
Yeah.
issue would be is whether or not there's any determination that decreases the number of variances if you, how you consider side and rear yard. Either way, you're going to the ZBA.
Corner lot. See if anything comes up. So this is a corner lot. All yards on corner lots and existing through lots abutting any street shall meet the requirements for front yard setbacks for the district in which the lot is located. On the effective day of the zoning chapter, through lots are not permitted. So that would be then the both yards that front to.
Right, the 5147, and this is why I'm bringing it up. The 5147 is actually a front yard, even though it's shown on the plan as being a rear yard setback. There's actually 2 front yards, and then this is almost like a triangle with a small amount of 29.98 oddballs, short piece of frontage on this side. So I almost look to ask Ben if this lot has just a side yard and 2 front yards, or whether or not he in fact calls the 75, 74 a rear yard. And if that's the case, it meets the 60. And the side yard going over to the far side by the 2998 may in fact comply. So you may only need an area variance.
I appreciate that thought. I mean, if we can get a determination by the building department before we go to the zoning board would be,
I'll talk to Ben, and while we're waiting for the new survey, just so that we can be clear as to exactly the dimensions. I don't know that the zoning board can deal with the variance for the back out of the vehicles. That's really a site development issue that the planning board would deal with, and you're
Right.
probably going to deal with that anyway. But you may only need area variance for the lot area.
again, I would be very interested. And another reason why is there was an addition added to the house, as we talked about several years ago. So that addition had to meet some setback requirement. So I would be interested to know what they determined at that time, whether that was a side yard, rear yard, or what. So
I can follow up with Ben, but
Okay.
there's a good chance that this only needs lot area.
that would be
Yeah,
great.
I don't know that we changed lot corner.
No, I think
That may be the same unless it wasn't there, then we would have added it, but
I
it may
looked
be
on
the
the code
same.
and I read it the same way.
Okay. So he can make that determination as far as corner lot, so he can determine how many variances are required.
Thank you.
So, we know this has to go off to the county. I don't want to deal with seeker this evening, only because, there've been a couple where we've said maybe it's exempt and then maybe it's unlisted, and I just want to make sure with our attorney that it's one or the other before we make a determination. But I think that there's enough information here to refer it to the county, because they're going to need 30 days anyway. And I would also recommend that we refer it to the ZBA, because they're going to need a public hearing, so that's going to be some time as well. And then when Mike's back, we can continue the discussion of, what needs to be done by the planning board. And Mark will do his
And I'll work
comment.
with Ben, with Dave, we'll make sure the right plan goes over. I'm sure Noreen will put a bug in the ZBA's ear that this is, should be reviewed in its form, and I'll give them a report. And then hopefully when it comes back, it'll be in good shape for the board to evaluate. I would say don't return unless you got the sewer and water resolved as well, because there's just no benefit.
I agree.
Right.
We're just anxious to get a ZBA decision, because if, well, just as you said, if they turn it down, then this project cannot proceed.
Right.
If they at least grant us the variance, then doing all that investigative work will have some merit.
Okay.
So we want the regulation from the ZBA, the variance request.
Any discussion from the board members? Does that seem reasonable? Yes?
Just a procedural thing. Can we do this simultaneously? Can the county review it while it's before the ZBA? Or does it have to go before us again?
I don't know for a single-family house if, do the variances get referred? They get referred to the county, correct?
For the 239?
For 239, for
they
an
should do
area
their own-
variance.
The ZBA should do a referral as well.
They'll do a referral. I don't know, we send the form. There's a form that we fill out. So we could probably include both the fact that it needs accessory apartment approval as well as the variances. So we won't send that out until we're sure of what the variances are. But we'll just resolve that it will get sent from our perspective.
Okay.
Okay. So, so first then with that, if someone could make a motion to refer the application to the county for general municipal law review, subject to, it will also be noted that variances are required, and we'll make sure that it's clear what variances are required when it gets to the county. If I may have a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any nays? And any abstentions? So that's carried 6-0, Lisa being absent. The second resolution, if someone would make a motion, would be to refer it to the ZBA. We will do uncoordinated review. We'll do our own seeker review. They can do